In this new Georgia, the rule of law will prevail, and freedom will be the birthright of every citizen.
The government has released a statement saying it's, quote, urgently seeking international intervention to prevent the fall of Georgia.
Protesters say plans to abolish direct presidential elections would erode democracy in Georgia.
Hello, I'm Alexander Baramidze. I am First Deputy Minister of Justice.
My name is Alexei Alexishvili. I was Minister of Finance of Georgia and Minister of Economy.
My name is Giorgi Shermazanashvili. I'm from Georgia and I'm the director of the Institute for Development of Freedom of Information.
Hello, Gamarjobat. My name is Tamta Tsveraidze. I am a former Minister of Defense of Georgia.
Hello, my name is Tamara Sartanya and I work as a program manager for NDI, National Democratic Institute, Georgia.
Hello, Gamarjoba. I'm Irina Pruidze. I'm Member of Parliament of Georgia.
Well, Georgia is a small country which regained its independence in early 1990s, and it really went a long way after the regaining of independence toward the present day. When Georgia became independent soon, civil war started in Georgia, and some paramilitary groups were, raiding the streets of Tbilisi and other cities of the country. And it was pitch dark outside and in government offices and homes of people, and corruption was in bloom.
We had really very problematic state-owned enterprises, big state-owned enterprises not functioning.
Everybody is aware that the Soviet times were under secrecy, no information.
That was the time when the country was falling apart, literally speaking. We had a military council running the state. We had no legitimate institutions. The president was already gone.
The situation was really very desperate. Everything was under corruption, and there was petty corruption and there was elite corruption, and that was covered completely.
Since then, many things changed. First, things changed after the Rose Revolution.
In the core of the Rose Revolution in this country. We fought against corruption deeply rooted in the state institutions. We fought against the torture. We fought against the abuse of power by various state institutions.
2004 was the first entry point in these reforms. After the reforms, that was not just fighting against corruption, but mainly that was approach of the government to simplify procedures, to get rid of this so-called Soviet legacy that we had in the economy, that we had in everyday life.
We had a feeling for a while that we won a big fight for a new democratic Georgia.
We did a lot of positive stuff related to economic reforms, to fiscal reforms, to public administration reforms. But on the other hand, there was really very important fundamental mistakes that was done by the government, specifically related to human rights.
In terms of human rights, the situation was awful. In terms of torture, ill treatment, in terms of people in jails, their situation, their condition, all that was awful.
For several years, we advocated for the access to KGB documents in Georgia. These documents tell you the story how people were arrested, how people were sentenced to death, and how this was carried out, how people were shot and buried somewhere that we don't know. And probably in 2010, 2011, we had a big move forward in access to archival documents.
So Georgia hasn't been a founding member of the Open Government Partnership. It joined the partnership a year later, but I think it has achieved tremendous results notwithstanding.
Open Government Partnership is the best model of multi-stakeholder initiatives. The cooperative governance is the tool how to achieve transparency, accountability, public engagement, of course, and even innovations and technologies.
Some of the most tangible results that it has brought is service delivery. If you look at our action plans, there are a lot of commitments that focus on service delivery.
Public service halls is the environment where up to 400 different public services can be provided to a citizen within minutes. The idea of public service is that it consists of front offices and back offices. The citizen is dealing with the front officer only. Back offices are different ministries, municipal agencies, other public agencies who provide different services. Then those back offices process the request and make their decisions. Front officer has nothing to do with it, and all this makes it quick, makes it transparent, and makes it free of corruption.
Actually, what you see here is the one-stop shop. That's what it is, public service hall. We're trying to deliver the state services, up to 400 state services within one single window. This is the biggest branch. We have 19 branches and 20th branch to come this year. We serve on average 20,000 customers per day.
In Georgia, we created the platform for decision-making process in OGP. It's called the Open Government Georgia's Forum. We are government and civil societies sitting together and discussing open government process.
The process itself was not easy, I would say, because there is an inherent tension. You know, when you have government and civil society getting together, we as a civil society, we always want more, we always push for more, and then the government sort of has to decide how much they can commit to, how much they can really do.
If there is political will, then there are specific instruments that we need to provide and keep the sequence and consistency of those reforms.
So as every reform, the OGP reforms can be also very challenging and sometimes even painful. So we are very lucky to have active civil society with us, also to have very good support of the donor organizations.
We just have a tendency, probably it's our post-Soviet mentality still there, to feel important. You need to have lots of secrets. The idea of open governance is exactly the opposite. We tell to everybody that this is your country and you are part of it.
This is a long journey. This is not something that, we'll do something one day and the next day Georgia becomes a democracy. It takes years, it takes hard work, it takes a lot of patience, but then, a few years down the road, you'll see that Georgia has moved forward and you'll realize that actually I've put a brick on that path. There is a little tiny input that I have made into this progress, and that makes me feel very, very proud, and that makes me want to do more and contribute more to the process.
Georgia is one example, but there might be many others. And now we have 75 countries in OGP. So these particular countries, each of them has something unique that can bring to the globe. And Georgia is one of them. Georgia was shining star in 2013, shining star in 2016, and Georgia got the chairmanship, but every other country can do it.
I think you cannot copy, but you can definitely use those instruments that was done in Georgia.
Yes, this is something that we did, and we did it together.
Use the Georgian example and do it better.